Well, hello everyone. It's that time of the year where it's cold enough that I gotta put on the cold weather gear. I was wearing shorts a few minutes ago, but I gotta get up on top of and basically give a great big hug to a really cold bus. So it's time to put on something a little warmer. Today, I am hoping to actually get some of the roof rails, well, not fully installed because I don't have the roof rails for the solar panels actually in stock yet. I've ordered them. They're coming. But I have some stunt rails that I can put in for now. And I want to start getting the mounting points installed. So what does that mean? Well, I've decided that since I don't know 100% how I'm mounting my solar, what I actually want up here, sorry as I dropped the other camera, what I actually want up here is a unistrut. 4 sections of it running over the top section of the bus, front to back. Now, 4 sections of unistrut is pretty straightforward. The piece that you saw there, if you notice, was bent. Little mishap, some testing last week. 4 pieces of unistrut, 2 just inside of the existing rails, and then 2 23 inches outboard, which is about here-ish. And that'll give me places on either side of the bus to kind of do whatever I want for mounting. Whatever I want that comes up less than 6 inches above the top of the bus. Top of the bus is currently about 12 feet. I'd like to keep the whole bus under 12.6 because I'd like not to meet civil engineers after going under bridges. 12.6 is what box trucks usually are. Most bridges are 14 feet. There's a few that are 13 feet. I won't go under anything less than that, is the plan. We'll see. Well, no, we'll go around. Anyways, so the plan is to install unistrut on top of the bus. Problem with just putting straight up unistrut there is that it will stop water from flowing. So I want a little bit of space under the strut. So we bought composite decking, cut it into strips, and drilled a hole in it. The hole is going to be for a bolt. Decking is going to go down. Place for holes to go under. It also lets it rock and roll a little bit if it's not 100% level on top of the bus. And then it goes down, and I'll show you a stack of this down on the ground. It's going to go through the unistrut, through this block, through the skin of the roof, through a rib, so it's actually structural. And then I'm actually going to put in a riv nut and a washer. And I'll explain why I'm doing it that way. But the first thing to do is to figure out where the first hole wants to be, get it spaced properly off of the existing reinforcement channel, and drill one of 40 holes I'm going to put in the roof of the bus. Here we go. I was going to try starting here. There's a problem. There's no rib there. There's that rib that I made. I'm not going to put a point in there. The next rib is probably about here, but I don't have a good point for that. So I think the first place I could actually put a hole is right here where I can see, I hope, see the 2 lines of rivets where presumably that rib actually is. I know that I am planning on putting everything this far out. So theoretically, if I use this as a drill guide, hopefully you have a shot of this. Here's my hand. So theoretically, I can drill this right in here and hit that rib. Here goes a dangerous choice. Yikes. All right. So that is only the first hole drilled. But let's complete the process inside the bus so that I know if this is a terrible idea or not. Let's hope for not. Well, shoot. Drilled that hole, it is much closer to a rib than I originally thought it'd be. Let me show you. So there's our hole right here. And it is right in line with the edge of this rib. I really thought it was further inboard. That might complicate everything. Still gonna try something though. The next plan had been to put a riv nut there, and I'm gonna see if I can get to that. But I'm not happy about this plan right now. Here we go. Let's see if you can get me drilling this. This is a riv nut. I'll explain them in a minute. Give me a slightly larger hole in this though to accept it. Not quite. This is not going as well as it might have. Okay. This is a riv nut setting tool. Should let me make sure this riv nut stays a part of the bus. This is a riv nut setting tool that is at an angle that makes it hard for me to actually start the riv nut. Okay. Holy mackerel. A lot of going on here. All right. Okay. Mr. Riv Nut should now be very fond of this bus. And I mean, it should never want to let go again. And all I have to deal with is the fact that I've got a... see, that's not as tight as I would have liked. Drat. All right. I might be boning myself in this. Let me see if I can slip a washer back there. I'm hammering this washer into the wood up here to get it to line up with the hole that is too close to the edge of this wood. It's actually kind of going in. What's that you say? Fingers? Oh, they're highly overrated. What could possibly go wrong? extremely nervous about this because it needs to line up at the top. And it doesn't feel right to me right now. I don't think I'll ever get a shot of this, but I'm actually able to see through one of these other holes, bend it and line it up. That falls into the oh my gosh that actually worked category. This is not working out the way I hoped it would. Here, let me show you. I've got the bolt going through the washer, which then goes through, I don't know if you can see back there, the riv nut, and then goes through the roof. But getting the bolt to turn now is going to be a pain in the butt. I may have to do that from the top. Well, let's keep working it, I guess. Ooh, it seems to be catching. That's actually good. All right, close enough. That doesn't have to be super tight. What it has to be is snug enough that it wants to turn less than anything else on it would. Let's go up on the roof. Put this back over the tailgate so that, put this back on the tailgate in the way so that I can find it later. Okay, so I'm back up on the roof of the bus. And what I have is this. This came up from the bottom. It is relatively tight through there. Doesn't want to move much. I can put a little bit of butyl around it for right now. Maybe we just do it this way. Pack it like this. Let's stay on there now.
See why that hatch is leaking, huh?
Oh, a crack on the side?
Couple cracks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that hatch out. So, get a little more. Really need to sharpen this knife. Then the theory is, I can do this without dropping the thing off the roof. This will go over, get a washer, and get set in there. It's just about flush, so, it's not terrible, not perfect. I can always grind them down if I have to. One. We've done one. Nothing quite like working on top of the bus in the cold. All right. So we measured down below and figured out that it is 28 3/4 edge to edge to this next rib. To this next rib. So if I get this to about there, get this to 28 3/4 to the edge. I'm measuring edge to edge on the actual bolt coming up. And we'll assume that the bolts are all made the same. This should be the middle of that rib that I can't feel. Alrighty. That's the next one. How'd I do?
Want you to know I ain't got much to show.
I'm on the rib and a little bit too far forward.
Until the spring.
Alright, well, I'm going in the next direction for the next one, so we'll see. So for this one I can see where the rivets are.
Creep into your prison cell. Hey baby, can you tell I'm not a criminal? Your choice is seminal. I want you to stay true to what's right for you.
Come on.
Maybe when you come down there
Yeah.
and you penetrate the skin
Feel back and forth and find the middle.
all the way down and rock back and forth and kind of find a happy medium, I think that'll be the easiest way.
Alright, let's try that then. This one I can be pretty sure I'm going to hit here. I can't quite find the edges.
A long shank drill bit will give you some ability to do that, right?
I don't think so. It's not that I'm running out of the edges. It's not that I can't reach the bottom. It's that I don't have enough angle before I jam up.
Well, then just go for the medium. What your range is.
I want you to stay true
I think I got a lot of wood on that one.
for you. No matter who or no one will ever say.
Definitely got more wood.
And try to say
And you're off center by about 3/8 of an inch.
Alright,
With the back this time.
alright. I mean, I didn't measure that when I eyeballed it, so. Do the next one. Oh, it's not the worst thing I've ever done. That was one of the dumber things I've ever done.
Vince, did you catch the content on tape?
I don't know. I might have.
fight for you. No matter who or no
This? No, I picked it up. I was actually going to ask you to hand me the Gorilla Tape so I could seal up that crack. But then I dumped a quart of ice water into my working space right over the hole I just drilled. 28 and 5/8. Okay. I can't get your chuck tight enough. What's that? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I kept jamming up on the. It just kept jamming up and twisting in the chuck. Hey, would you do me a favor? Would you go on the rear driver's seat of my truck? If you flip up the mats, there's a first aid kit. Oh, I should have gone for the bucket. No, I'm just putting down the ones that don't have holes in them. Definitely won't need those. Yeah, I have to move the chart before the next one. I'm actually wondering if you want to get some of these things kind of bedded a little bit before it gets too late. You know? All right, well, it's not quite dark out, but I'm at a stopping point. So let me show you the top side of what we did today. And then I'll go down and show you the bottom. We are going to use Wonder Bar or unistrut or whatever you want to call it to mount our solar panels. We're going to do 4 sections of it. Sorry, not 4 sections. Not more than 4 sections. We're going to do 4 runs of it along the top of the bus, front to back. That'll let me put solar panels on either side or in the middle if I want to come up with a different structure. We'll see about that. What we've been doing today is figuring out, or is creating a way to attach the Wonder Bar to the bus. And let me show you what that is. You saw below that we're putting in those riv nuts. Well, the bolts go through the riv nuts, through the rib, come up into this spacer, and then we just have butyl underneath the spacer and over the spacer, slowly squeezing out, to seal it all up. The unibar, the unistrut, Wonder Bar, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to call it unibar from now on. The unibar, we'll take this nut off, we'll sit down in here, probably put another washer on, or maybe I'll pull this washer off and redo the butyl. But the Wonder Bar is going to get, the unibar is going to get clamped down to the top of this. Might have to cleave off the top of this stud a little bit, it's a little bit high. But we're going to do that in line, see if you can see it, all the way down the bus, all the way down the top section of the bus. On the bottom, when I show you it, you'll see that there's just the riv nut and the bolt coming through there. The riv nut's not doing much. Actually, let me say this down off the top of the bus. Hang on. Okay, so I'm down from the bus. Batteries are about to die, so let's see if I can get through this. I'm gonna be talking fast. So, on the bottom here, you can see there's a washer and the nut. There's a riv nut in there. The riv nut's not structural. The riv nut is there so I can jam this nut up against it and keep it from spinning. So the riv nut is sandwiching this bolt and this washer to the rib of the bus. Camera just died, so now we're doing cell phones. Anyways, riv nut sandwiches the washer to the rib of the bus with the bolt, and I jam it in there, not crazy tight, but tight enough so that it won't spin. That means that now I can drag up at the top when I put the nuts on the top of the unistrut, when I use that. Basically, the force from the unistrut clamping down will also hold that bolt in place without me having to be able to get to the head of the bolt. The riv nut is there to keep it from spinning before and after that bolt is on, or that nut is on. The idea being that once it's spray foamed in, if I have to take that unistrut off, it'll be a real pain in the butt to get to the heads of these bolts. I don't really feel like welding them to the ribs of the bus. So this is sort of the way of making sure they don't spin anymore. And even if I do back that nut off, it won't back it off. It shouldn't back the bolt off enough, and it should actually have a tightening force on that bolt, on that riv nut, so that it will just make everything tighter and tighter and tighter is the plan. It'll let me take the unistrut off the top of the bus if I ever need to, without dropping the ceiling and removing the eventual spray foam. That's the theory anyways, that's the plan, that's what we're trying for now. The biggest question is whether or not I just installed all of that without creating 8 new leaks in the bus. Hope so. That's probably all I'm going to do for this week. Next week, I'm going to be back up here. Yeah, probably next week. Might be a little more than a week, actually, because holidays. I'll be back up here doing probably the rest of, or at least the next row, and hopefully the rest of the riv nuts. It took me a little bit of time to figure out how I want this all to go. There may also be a video about, well, it won't come out yet. I'm working on the control of the heating system, sort of offline. I'm getting some footage. That might take a while for that video to come out. And I'm also working on some brackets for the eventual roof rack. But that will probably get incorporated when I get the brackets set. Anyways, that's it for this week. I don't know even how long this one is, but it's fine. That's it for this week. Like, subscribe. Tell me that this will never work. I won't listen, but you know, it's always entertaining. And until the next time I post, have a great week.